It's always political season, but a big name in a race, CD5, former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb. Not surprised, I gotta say, not surprised, but glad to hear you're doing this.
Thank you. I was a little surprised.
Were you?
You know, politics is tough. And, you know, I'd been in law enforcement for a long time, politics, so it wasn't something I was looking at jumping back into. But in the end, I can't tell these stories of the founding fathers, of their sacrifice and their courage, and not be willing to do it myself. You know, say, oh, it's not right time for me. In the end, I just couldn't walk away from the fight. And I think what Arizona needs, and Andy Biggs has been my congressman in CD5 for a long time. These are big shoes to fill because he's got a great conservative record. And what we need is to continue that tradition of people that are unapologetic and unafraid to stand up for American values, for God, family, freedom, and the greatness of America. And that's what in the end, that's what brought me back. And I'm full force. I'm ready to go. And I think we're going to do really well. And I look forward to serving the people.
Let's talk about a couple of the priorities. Everybody keeps talking about fiscal responsibility. The DOGE came in. There were some cuts that were made. But we're still $37 trillion in debt and climbing. How do you get with people that are like-minded, that are willing to make the hard decisions to get the fiscal house in order?
Well, I think we're starting to expose some of the issues with our fiscal problems, you know, our debt. I think that we exposed a lot of money going outside of America, tax dollars earned here, hardworking tax dollars going to other countries for silly things oftentimes, funding other wars that are not our wars. And then we also have now this newest information is 42 million people that are actually on EBT or some sort of government assistance. And we've got as high as 59% of them may be non-U.S. born and many of them illegal. Those are issues that we have to address if we're going to get our debt and our economy under control. We also, at the same time, need to make sure that we're rallying with enough people to get the right jobs in places. You know, what houses cost is the average median income here in Arizona is about $446,000. And the average income is anywhere between $65,000 and $80,000. I saw different statistics.
Yeah.
How do you afford houses? How do kids afford houses? So I would love to see more manufacturing jobs brought here to Arizona, better paying jobs. I think that we focus on jobs and make sure we continue to trim the fat on a federal level. I think we can start to get this under control.
The fact that you've held an office, even though the sheriff's office isn't a political office, it is an elected office. So you've served in an elected capacity. You've run for office in the past. It's got to give you some experience now to run a campaign. But the difference is, now that you're in this East Valley, you've watched the explosion of growth in the East Valley. How do you manage that? In Washington, D.C., we know it's managed growth. But how do you manage an office in D.C. to help your district at home? Am I asking the right question?
Yeah, you know, and one of the things I think that I bring to the table is the experience. My budget isn't trillions of dollars, but we had a $60+ million budget. I had 600 employees. My job was to manage that budget and to make sure that the needs of the community were met, even though my community was one of the fastest growing areas in the state of Arizona for many years. Pinal County, Santan Valley, those were some of the fastest growing areas. Gilbert, Chandler, now you get into these, that's part of this district, Apache Junction, Queen Creek. We've watched the growth, but out there they've done a really good job of managing it. I think we did a great job at the sheriff's office of managing our budget and our growth along with the growth of the community. So I hope to take that same fiscal mindset of being very cognizant of the dollars that we're being given by the taxpayers and giving them the best return on their, it's not really an investment, but you know what I'm saying, a return on investment for what they expect from their government.
At 1 minute left, the difference is the sheriff, you are at the top of the food chain. You're going to be one of 435.
We're at the top of the top of the top.
Right. So how do you build a coalition? How do you make sure it's not just your voice?
So, you know, look, I'm one of almost 3,100 sheriffs in this country, yet we've managed to build a tremendous coalition with sheriffs from all across this country, Republicans, Democrats, all types of sheriffs. What we do is we find common ground. In law enforcement, we understand we have a mission, and the job is to get whatever it is that mission is, to get it done. We got to find common ground to be able to do that. Look, I'm a conservative. I've never wavered on my conservative values, but I'm a very easy person to work with, and I've shown it on a national level with sheriffs, And I don't think it's going to be too tough to show it with 435 members at a federal level.
All right, if you want to learn more about the campaign, just look here on the screen. You'll be able to see it. Look for Mark Lamb, and he could use your help and use your vote.
Yep, marklamb.us.
Thanks, man.
Mike.
We'll be back.